Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome guys, my name is Liaquat. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Right, so if you guys are not familiar with my YouTube channel, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share the videos with everyone else and make loads of dua as well. Right, this series is dedicated to understanding of fiqh. Here are some questions for today's lesson. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the text. I'm going to explain it to you guys as best as I can, and then we're going to come back to these questions and see if we can answer them. So first of all, if a person misses multiple fasts, do they have to make them up consecutively? If a person misses fasts and then delays them until the next Ramadan comes, do they have to give Fidya? If a breastfeeding woman is scared that her fasting might affect the milk for the baby, what does she do? What is the ruling of a Sheikh Fani? What is Fidya? What does it mean Nafal becomes necessary when initiated? And what does a new Muslim do if they accept Islam in the middle of the day? So have a look at these questions. See if you guys can answer the questions now. If you can, then excellent. If you can't answer these questions now, then don't worry. The explanation that we go through, inshallah, we are going to be covering this. Alright, so let's have a look at today's lesson. So the word qada, it means to make up. And then we have Ramadan, which you guys already know. Farraqa yufarriqu tafriq, from faraq, which means to separate. And then you have insha'a taba'ahu, taba'a yutabi'u mutaba'atan, is to follow up, make something follow something else as well. And what else do we have here? Akhara yu'akhiru, it means to delay, to put something at the end. And then you've got Fidya, which means compensation or even ransom. Yeah, so it's something that you give in exchange for something else. Then you've got Murdi', which is actually breastfeeding a woman. Now, if you guys know, put in the comments why is it Murdi' and it doesn't have a ta at the end. And if you guys are really good, what's the difference between Murdi' and Murdi'ah? What's the difference between this word and if there was a ta marbuta at the end? Okay, khafata is from the word khawf, which means to fear. And if you guys are not familiar with ajwaf fi'ls, hollow fi'ls, then check out my series on sarf. That's inshallah, you guys will benefit from that as well, and hit the subscribe button as well. Okay, Sheikh al-Fani, Fana yafni, it means to perish, right? So perish. And a Sheikh al-Fani is actually someone who has reached a level, an age where they're literally about to perish, right? Senile, going to perish. Your kafarat, kafara yukaffiru takfir, which means to expiate oneself for some kind of mistake they've made or sin they've committed. And then you've got awsa, yusi, isa'an, it means to make a bequest, make someone their wasi. Then you've got sa', which is a type of measure. Now, I've covered this in the chapter of zakat, so if you check in the chapter of zakat, I've actually mentioned this when we talk about the concept of Sadaqatul Fitr. So you can check that out. Nis, you guys should know that. Bur, you guys should know this, but you know what it is. Tamar, you should know this. Sha'ir, you should know this. Tatawu means optional supererogatory prayers. And then you've got Balagha yablughu, to reach, or to become baligh even, which is the meaning in this case. Then you've got Baqiya, which means the remaining. So the leftover, the Baqiya. Okay, so let's have a go at this then. Right, so let's look at the tarkib of this then. So Qada, Ramadan, this is Mudaf and Mudaf ilayhi. And yes, you guys are right, Ramadan is a ghair munsarif. So it takes single fatha in the majroor state. In is harf shart. Farraqa yufarriqu is fi'l plus the fa'il. Insha'a taba'a yutabi'u mutaba'atan is fi'l fa'il. فإن أخره أخر يؤخر تأخير فعل فاعل. Ramadan is the fa'il of dakhala. آخر is the sifa of Ramadan. So both of these words are غير منصرف. Now if you know why is آخر غير منصرف, put it in the comments. Okay, it's موصول صفة. You got there, دخل is going to be the fi'l, and then that's going to be the fa'il. صام رمضان. So صام is fi'l and رمضان is going to be the fa'il, or rather مفعول به, منصوب, and it's the موصوف and the صفة as well. Right, وقضى الأول. قضى is fi'l fa'il. الأول is going to be the مفعول به. لا فدية, single fatha because this is الاسم لا نفي الجنس. Okay, عليه والحامل والمرضع. So حامل and مرضع is the مبتدا, and خافتا is fi'l plus the fa'il dual. So خاف, خافا, خافوا, خافت, خافتا. If you guys know what I'm talking about, guys. Right, and then you got ولديهما. ولدين is dual. أفطرتا is the same as خافتا, dual feminine past verb. قضتا is the same. ولا فدية. So ولا فدية is the ism of لا. And then you got Sheikh, Al-Fani. So does anyone know why we don't say Al-Faniyu? So Fani is the sif of Sheikh. Anyone know in the comments why we say Al-Fani and not Al-Faniyu? If you do, you know what to do. لا يقدر فعل plus the فاعل. على الصيام جار مجرور. يفطر فعل plus فاعل. ويطعم أطعم يطعم إطعام فعل فاعل. لكل يوم مسكينا is the مفعول به. كما يطعم في الكفارات فعل فاعل مفعول به جار مجرور. من مات وعليه القضاء. عليه is خبر مقدم. قضاء is the مبتدأ مؤخر. قضاء رمضان. فأوصى به أطعم عنه وليه. وليه is the فاعل of أطعم. لكل يوم مسكينا is the مفعول به. نصف صاع مضاف مضاف إليه. من بر أو صاعا من تمر. So العطف onto نصف. أو صاعا من شعير. Next, ومن دخل في صوم التطوع. Yeah, so من is the موصولة, or it's the شرط. Then صلاة التطوع مضاف مضاف إليه. ثم أفسده. وإذا بلغ فعل الصبي فاعل أو أسلم فعل كافر فاعل. في رمضان أمسك. أمسك is going to be the fi'l and fa'il times 2. So أمسك أمسك. بقية يومهما وصام جول again. So أمسك بقية يوم, this is going to be ظرف. Okay, مفعول فيه. Okay, anyway, let's have a go at the masala then. So here today, inshallah, we'll be covering about 6 masalas, right? We're going to look at 6 masail, and then we'll see what you guys make of them. So first of all, let's say, for example, this is the month of Ramadan. And in the month of Ramadan, I've missed out, let's say, 4 fasts. Right now, obviously, if I have missed out 4 fasts, then the Quran says that I have to make them up after the month of Ramadan. So how do I make these up? So do I have to make them up consecutively, one after the other, when I start doing them after Ramadan? Or can I make them up as I please? So the rule is as you please. So you can do them all together, one after the other. Or you can, in fact, what you can do is you can even separate them out, do them on different days, totally fine. In other words, it's not like Ramadan where they have to be done within a certain period of time. They can actually be done with gaps in between them, each one. So you can either all do them together, or you can do them all separate. So farraqa, or taba'a, whichever one you want to do. Now, let's say I haven't made these up until the next Ramadan fasts actually start. So the next Ramadan fasts are going to start now, and I still haven't made them up. What do I do in this kind of situation over here? According to the Hanafis, that's fine. You shouldn't be delaying fasts anyway, but if the next Ramadan does come, you simply just fast the next Ramadan and you do the qada of the previous Ramadan afterwards. So fast Ramadan, not slow Ramadan, fast. Forget it, you didn't get the joke. fast in Ramadan, and then you make up the previous Ramadans after that. And that's it basically. That's the first one. وَقَضَاءُ رَمَضَانَ, the qada of Ramadan, in sha'a, if he wishes, فَرَّقَهُ, he can separate them like this. وَإِن شَاءَ, and if he wishes, تَابَعَهُ, he can fast them consecutively, one after the other. فَإِنْ أَخَّرَهُ, and if he delays them, حَتَّى دَخَلَ, until the other Ramadan enters, صَامَ رَمَضَانَ, next Ramadan has come, he fasts the second Ramadan, الثاني, وَقَضَى الْأَوَّلَ, and he makes up the first, بَعْدَهُ, after it. وَلَا فِدْيَةَ, and there is no fidya عَلَيْهِ, upon him. Okay. Now, over here, so no fidya. Let me write this down. So why is it saying no fidya? Because there are some scholars like the Shafi madhab and others who say that if you were to delay the fasts of one Ramadan until the next Ramadan came, and you had to make up the fasts after the coming of the next Ramadan, then you'd actually be committing an offense, and therefore you'd also have to give fidya whilst making the fast up as well. So it's like a kind of like, like a penalty for this. Okay, now it's talking about the next masala. The next masala is basically what does a pregnant woman and a breastfeeding woman do if they're scared that if I was to fast, it might harm the child. Right? How could it harm the child? So if you're pregnant and you've got a baby in the fetus, and you're scared that if you were to fast for, let's say, 15 hours a day, it can have an impact on the fetus. Or if you're a breastfeeding woman and, you're scared that if you were to fast, it's going to have an impact on the milk production in the breast, and this would obviously affect the child. Then what do you do in this kind of situation? So basically, the Sharia has said about this situation that the women in this case are allowed to do qada. So they don't have to fast in Ramadan, and they can actually make them up after Ramadan when there's no fear. So if there's this is only when there is a fear of the baby being harmed. So والحامل, the pregnant woman, and the murdi, and the breastfeeding woman, إذا خافتا, when they both fear على ولديهما, over their child. So they both fear for their children. Right, so you can translate over here ala as for. They both fear for their children. Aftarata, they both can translate this as not fast. Waqadata, and make up Ramadan. Wala fidyata alayhima, and same as before, there is no penalty, no fidya upon them for this. Okay, next masala. Let's write that down there. No fidya. Okay. Actually, my voice is feeling a bit heavy today. Right, so hope I'm not getting ill. Al-Shaykh Al-Fani. The next masala is, what if there's a person who has reached such an old age, that they are now at a level where they've become senile, old, extremely difficult for them to be able to fast? What do these people do? So if there's a shaykh who has reached the age of being extremely old, right, senile, or unable to fast, right, literally their body cannot fast, they need to take medicines until they die. This can apply to any individual who has some sort of terminal or chronic illness, which means that they would never ever be able to fast and must eat in the day of Ramadan medication or food to stay healthy or stay alive. Right, so this individual can't fast. What do? So the Sharia has said, the Quran has said, that they give for each day that they can't fast, they have to give fidya. Now if they can fast later on, they don't give fidya, they simply do qada. But if they cannot fast for the rest of their lives, it's guaranteed they won't be able to fast, then they give fidya. What's the fidya? Well, the fidya is they give half a sa' of wheat. So one sa', I've mentioned this before, about 3.2 liters of wheat, of half of that, which is about 1.5, 1.6 liters of wheat. And then you got one sa' of barley, about 3.2 liters of barley, and then one sa' of dates, one sa' of raisins. So they have a choice of whichever one they want to give. They can give this, but they have to give it to the poor. So they either give this, right, or its equivalent monetary value, which kind of, nowadays works out to be about £3 per day, roughly. or they can actually feed a meal to the poor. So if they want to invite the poor to their house and feed them a meal, they'll have to do for each day 2 meals per day. So they've got a choice. Either you're gonna feed the poor 2 meals a day. So if you've missed 30 fasts, so that's 30 poor people for 30 meals, double that, 60 meals then. Yeah. But if you want to give them parcel food, then all you have to do is give them what we just mentioned over there. Okay, so that's the choice that they have over here. Alright, so وَالشَّيْخُ الْفَانِي, the elderly or the perishing sheikh, senile sheikh, الَّذِي, the one who لا يقدر, is incapable, this guy, على الصيام, to fast, يفطر, he doesn't fast, ويطعم, and feeds, لكل يوم, for every day that he's missed, miskinan, a poor person, كما يطعم, just like he feeds in the kafarat. So in the masail of fiqh, the kafarat, so for example like kafarat of breaking an oath, or kafarat of zihar, and other things that are mentioned in the books of fiqh, which we haven't covered at the moment. That's basically what you do, right? So we haven't covered this in the chapter of fasting, salat, no fasting, no anything else. And that's it basically. So kafarat is a kind of like expiation that you kind of give. Alright, so this is the third masala. Next masala. Right, let's say there is a person who has missed Ramadan. So they've died as well. So they've missed fasts and they've died. Right, so let's say they missed 10 fasts. What do? They're dead now. They can't make up the fasts. So what they should have done was, before they died, they should have left it in their will, or they should have told someone, like a close relative, a wali, that right, I've missed 10 fasts. If I die and I can't make them up, please, from my money, from my assets, pay fidya. Right, so feed 10 poor people 2 meals, or give 10 people those items that we mentioned above. Right, so this is known as a wasiyah. Right, so wasiyah, so feed per fast, or give those items. So this is also something which people do as well. Right, so وَمَنْ مَاتَ, whoever dies, وَعَلَيْهِ, whilst he has qada of Ramadans to make up, فَأَوْصَى بِهِ, and he has instructed someone to be his executor in this, or trustee to fulfill it. أَطْعَمَ عَنْهُ, he feeds on behalf of him. The wali, his wali feeds on his behalf. Anhu means on his behalf. لِكُلِّ يَوْمٍ, for every day. Miskinan, a poor person. How much does he give? نِصْفَ سَاعٍ, half a sa' min bur, of wheat, or sa'an min tamar, or 1 sa' of tamar, or 1 sa' of sha'ir. Okay, right, next. Okay, number 5. Right, so this masala is like a general masala to do with fasting and to praying salat as well. Optional fasts, what we call nafal, are not necessary for us to do. Right, so these are optional fasts and optional prayers. We don't have to pray them, or it's up to us. If we pray them and if we fast them, you get extra reward, but you won't be sinful for not doing it. Obviously, if you want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it's a very, very good thing to do. So, the rule the Hanafis have, if you ever start a nafal, right, if you initiate a nafal, you must complete it. Right, so if you start a nafal, you have to complete it. Therefore, if you break the nafal, you'll have to do qadha of it. So if you ever started a nafal fast or a nafal salat, you must complete it, and if you don't complete it and break it halfway, you will be expected to do qadha, make that up at another time. So man dakhala, whoever enters into the fast of tatawu, of optional fast, supererogatory fast, or enters into salat al-tatawu, starts a nafal prayer, thumma afsadahu, and then he nullifies it, qadahu, he does qada, and that's it. So this is our position. Obviously other madhab, Shafis and others, they say no. If it's optional at the beginning, it remains optional till the end, and therefore there's no qada for it. Okay, last masla. This is the 6th masla now. So he says, let's say for example there is a minor. Does a minor have to fast? No. Does a kafir have to fast? No. But let's say in the day of Ramadan, we'll try to draw a nice straight line. So in the day of Ramadan, a non-Muslim accepts Islam, or even a child becomes an adult, right? And obviously they've accepted Islam or become an adult in the middle of the day, so they can't really fast. Okay, they can't fast. So what do these two individuals do? So this is a new Muslim, right, in the middle of the day, let's say 10 o'clock in the morning, he's accepted Islam, and a child has become baligh, right? So what they have to do is they have to do something which is known as imsak. Imsak literally means to stay away from, meaning eating, drinking, sexual intercourse. So they try to imitate fasting people even though they're not going to be imitating themselves. All right, so they do the action of imsak, and until Maghrib they stay away from eating, drinking, and so forth. So, and do they have to make up this day after Ramadan for not fasting it? No, they don't have to, right? Because they have to be considered to be Muslim from before Fajr for that fast to be necessary on them. All right, so no eating, no drinking, etc. Okay, and it's not considered a fast. It's called imsak. Okay, so let's look at the text. وَإِذَا بَلَغَ الصَّبِيُّ, and when a minor reaches puberty, or أَسْلَمَ الْكَافِرُ, or a kafir accepts Islam, في Ramadan, in Ramadan, أَمْسَكَا, both people, they stay away, بَقِيَّةَ يَوْمِهِمَا, for the rest of the day. Stay away from what? Like I told you. وَصَامَا, and they both fast, مَا بَعْدَهُ, whatever comes after, I mean after Ramadan, yeah, مَا بَعْدَهُ, وَلَمْ يَقْضِيَا, and they do not do qada of ma mada, of what has passed. Yeah, so they amsaka baqiyata yawmiha, sama ma ba'dahu, they have to fast whatever comes after. They don't have to do qada of the rest, right? So they're not expected to do qada of the remainder days. So in other words, the days that have already passed. So let's say if 15 days have already passed, they don't have to do qada of those days. And that's it basically. Lam yaqdiya ma mada, they don't have to make up what has already passed because they were not in the right state for that fast to be necessary on them. And there you have it. So these are the 6 maslas of today. So you got this one explaining of you can make up qada fasts in a broken fashion or one after the other. Number 2, the issue of the pregnant woman and the breastfeeding woman. Number 3, the senile sheikh. Number 4, the RIP guy having to make up fasts after he's passed away. The issue of the nafal prayer. And number 6 is imsak. Okay, let's have a look at the questions then. So look at these questions and let's try to answer them. You can pause it here. If a person misses multiple fasts, do they have to make them up consecutively? What's the answer? No, they don't have to. If a person misses fast and delays them until the next Ramadan comes, do they have to give Fidya according to Hanafis? No. If a breastfeeding woman is scared that her fasting may affect the milk for the baby, what does she do? Then she has a choice of not fasting, but making up the qada after. What is the ruling of Sheikh Fani? Sheikh Fani does not fast, rather he pays. For each fast that he misses, he pays the fidya. What is fidya? So the fidya is basically, he either feeds for each individual poor person twice a day, or he gives those items that we mentioned. What does it mean nafal becomes necessary when initiated? So answer to this is, according to the Hanafis, that when you start any nafal action, that nafal action becomes necessary on you, and even if you break it, you will have to make it up. And finally, what does a new Muslim do if they accept Islam midday in Ramadan? They have to abstain from eating, drinking, sexual intercourse, and this day will not be considered to be a fast. And that's it. It's called imsak. So Jazakumullah khair for watching this video, guys. Really appreciate it. And thank you to all my patrons for all of the kind support that you guys show my channel. It means a lot to me. The work that I put into it, I see the fruit of this when you guys are commenting and you guys are happy at the content I provide. And if any of you guys want to help me in my project and want to support my channel, me making these videos for free of charge for people around the world, then please check out the links below. You can become a monthly donor through Patreon, or even a one-off donor as well through PayPal. And thank you very much. Really appreciate everything. Jazakumullah khair, guys. Means a lot. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.